Egypt is a star map and a portal to access your soul's blueprint through the sacred codings in the land. Once your cell memory is activated and the land is calling you, you can be sure to find deep wisdom and master alchemy. Now, I am warmly inviting you to join me on Initiation into the Merkabah Grid, your sacred journey into the mysteries of Egypt and the blueprint of your soul. And we are embarking on this sacred sojourn of alchemy and transformation, December 11th to December 18th of this year, 2025. You will be walking the sands of time and sacred anchor points of Akashic wisdom that allow you to remember your true origin, and that may lead to a rewiring and reclamation of soul threads into your existence and purpose. And then consciously activating these into your own Merkabah light body and into the collective grid of Gaia, as we will be working with different pyramid frequencies. There is so much potent alchemy waiting for you. And some of the highlights are a private ceremony at the Sphinx and in the Great Pyramid. So you'll have a chance to be in the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, the subterranean, exploring the Great Pyramid all by yourself, visiting the Valley of the Whales and Khafre Pyramid, both beautifully cosmic mother star templates, plus a multitude of other highly activating ceremonial sites, therapeutical temples, and more pyramids. If you feel the resonance of Egypt vibrating and really alive within your cells, register below to receive more details and schedule a call with me. I cannot wait to journey together into the greatest remembrance of soul. Hi, Sacred Travel friends. Welcome to another episode. I am so glad that you are here. And I just want to give a shout out to each and everyone who is supporting me every single week. I do appreciate you. I love you. And let's dive right in. Now, what if I told you that your body is not just flesh and bone, but a living archive of ancient technology, encoded to access frequencies, portals, and also a multidimensional reality. From Egypt to France, from Greece to different Magdalene sites and places all over the world, I have walked past where my body remembered and things that the mind cannot conceive to no extent. And this is a journey that I want to invite you into, a journey into the forgotten language and languages of the body, of light, vibration, and consciousness itself. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to awaken your cells, activate your light body, and reconnect with the ancient technology of your very, very own being. You know, I thought that it's actually a gift that only very few and rare people possess, like different clair abilities. But I was proved wrong. Anyone and everyone holds the potential and the ability that is so much greater than you think, and you do as well. So what is ancient body technology that I keep on talking about? I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me, in short, ancient body technology is remembering the original design of the human body as a multidimensional, radiant, and intelligent instrument of the divine. In my own words, I feel very much the same. So the human body is not just flesh and bone, neither the mind. We are encoded as divine source, as a living instrument, a living bridge of divine essence, source codes, source energy, designed through consciousness, with consciousness, and also to walk a conscious path. And that contains multiple interwoven layers. So there is these different layers of the body that are the physical, but also the emotional, the mental, and the energetic body, and the light body, and the different layers of our becoming, of the aura. And these layers form a highly sophisticated, advanced technology that is capable of transmitting, receiving, and also translating information that is information as frequency, vibration, between human beings, but also between the earth and the cosmos, the stars, every living being on the planet. And that is where abilities like flying, levitating, teleportation, or even communicating telepathically, regeneration and longevity practices. Like, remember how we are being told in the Bible that Sarah and Abraham and all of these ancestors and these ancient ones were over 5,000 years old. Why? Because they had these longevity practices in place with the earth, with caves, with different technology that they knew how to access. Endless self-healing capabilities and possibilities of the body, of like constant renewing itself. Virgin birth as another concept, which is parthenogenetic. It's such a hard word. Parthenogenetics, which we still see nowadays being happening in nature. Like bees do it all the time, and I believe there is other species who are still capable of reproducing themselves without a physical sacred union. Star walking, magnetism, auric expansion, and also weather weaving or elemental communication. Like the list goes on and on and on. And it's all these concepts that we can mentally get and grasp. But that layer, like once we experience that this is an actual truth and that we are capable of doing this, because there are these codings, the cellular memory that just needs to unlock, the game totally changes. And your trajectory of how you can traverse life, how you can navigate life, totally changes. So I feel in this time of awakening consciousness and also in this time of chaos, it is really, really important that we come back to this remembrance of that we are source codings, that we hold this ability within, because it gives us different choice points and the way how we can navigate life in a very conscious way. So yeah, in this episode and also beyond, I really invite you to remember your 7 layers of becoming, your light body Merkabah, and your blueprint of divine essence that holds these capacities. So we can all come back into harmony and unity again. I want to tell you about some of the sites where I had profound experiences, and this is only some, right? And also experience participants or sisters that went with me to really have life-changing aha moments and coming home into true power, clarity for their path, and also like self-trust in the abilities that they hold. If you have been to any of these places that we are going to be talking about or another, then please shoot me a message. I would really like to hear your experience. Tell me your story, because we are also weaving that tapestry together. And maybe now that you listen to this episode and you remember a sequence on the land that didn't make sense earlier, and now it clicks in place because your body remembers. And that's another thing that I want to invite into your reality, that awakening and the expansion of consciousness, the remembrance, is a spiral path. It is never linear. And we are all just walking each other home as we hold clues for one another's becoming and remembrance. Also, I want to give a little disclaimer about not having physically to travel to these places. Because you might listen to this and you say, okay, Julia, this is all great, but like I don't have the capacity or ability for whatever reason to travel. And that doesn't matter because you don't have to be physically on site. It is very, very powerful because it gives an additional layer to it, but you can totally access the information and this vibrant grid of memory that is stored in a place while just connecting telepathically, astral traveling, or also in meditation. And so you will find a bunch of meditations on this podcast, actually, like unlocking the Sphinx passage to Syrian wisdom, which is episode 18, or also another one that is specifically to the season that we are in now, Samhain, Rites of Alchemy and the Labyrinth, where it's also both are kind of like unlocking ancient technology. The Labyrinth is about seeing in the darkness. So that is episode 35. So you can totally find a lot of meditations and even I just think the episodes where we speak about these places can activate this remembrance inside of you. Also, I have a bunch of master classes and courses in my Soul Wisdom library on my website. So you can go over there and connect with these energies of the site and the technology without necessarily having to physically travel. Okay, so let's dive right in. Of course, if you've been with me a while, you know that Egypt has been such, or still is, and continues to unfold such a big catalyst for my own journey, as it is for many, many, many. And it's no coincidence that at this time, many are being called to go to Egypt. Many are remembering these Egyptian codings that we also find these new researches and findings under the pyramids, under the Sphinx, under different temples, new pyramids being revealed not only in Egypt, but all around the globe. So all of this is part of the remembrance of this ancient technology that was once there, that was once flourishing and in a golden age. And we are holding that resonance level of consciousness now where we can meet it again. So my first encounter with this ancient body technology actually did begin in Egypt, where I was, just like walking through these temple gates, specifically Abydos, that is such a Stargate in itself. And also, I had a very profound past life experience while being on the Nile on the 𝗲𝗵𝗀, where I felt something shift in my cellular structure and the texture of literally like physically how my cells were being, organized in my body. And it was like a hidden key. Like I always visually saw that ankh turning and clicking my cells open. So like that hidden key that is turning on something inside your nervous system. And during also meditations in the sites that really put me into that altered state and also allowed me to astral travel, especially Abydos was a big, big portal for me where I astral traveled to the constellation of Orion and like moving through the galaxy of the three stars of Orion's belt. I experienced, as you can imagine, my consciousness moving across centuries, but literally like making quantum leaps and just like the sheer potentiality of what is available to me in thought form or in frequency form. And it was this past life experiences, but also seeing myself, in different incarnations, dying on the Titanic, having the potential then to release myself through the waters of the Nile, but also these past lives in the temples, like literally brushing your hands over the walls, remembering how being there when these temples were built, how being there when the fires were lit and the ceremonies went on, and also these, this astral capacity of like using these sites as portals to travel in and out the earth realm and different dimensions. And so each of these sequences was as if my body really remembered episodes from past incarnations and was able to integrate it and to retrieve it. Not so much in the sense of like, oh, why this happened, why that happened, but really to come back to the present moment and say like, see, this is possible, and even this is possible. And even though you died there, now you're coming back and now you're remembering, and you weren't able to complete this in that life, but now you are. So use it, use it, use it. And it was like my body becoming an instrument, a tuning fork of sheer energetic remembrance, a cellular memory that had been dormant and was really now awakened. And I am not the only one. So everybody that walks through these temples, and it doesn't have to be Egypt, it can be anywhere else, especially where you specifically feel drawn to, where you hold a shared resonance with the earth and with that memory field. Something clicks in place and something clicks open. And, then there is always the mental layer of like, am I making this up? Let me tell you, no, you are not. You cannot. Excuse my language, you cannot make this shit up. Like stuff happens, you see, you get visions or you feel it in your body where like your mental capacity of even imagining stuff like that, not possible. So this is not your imagination. Don't question yourself. Trust that. Trust it. Ancient Egyptian initiates, and not only ancient Egyptian initiates, but this is the lineage that I connect most to, so that's why I talk about it so much, trained the body to become a transmitter and a receiver, a portal, a vehicle for a multidimensional experience where your Merkabah, your light body vehicle, gets trained and turned on. So it's really that alignment of the breath of life, speech, your actions, and focused intention were these keys to unlock latent abilities that are still encoded in your DNA today, unlock. Hey, everybody, if you are enjoying the show, then you would do me the biggest favor in clicking the subscribe button and engaging with my content so I can continue to deliver these beautiful conversations to you. Thank you so much. Now, Egypt is full of Atlantean and ancient body technology. A lot of that is hidden in plain sight, but it is also veiled in a way. There are the pyramids, and it's not just the Great Pyramids, it's all the pyramids because they are part of a greater grid of pyramids. I think in Egypt alone, and don't nail me down on the number, but I think it's over 30 or 40 pyramids, maybe even more. And there is this belt around the entire globe where we find many, many, many pyramids. As I was also saying in the beginning, there is a multitude of pyramids that are now being discovered in China and Bosnia and Serbia, in a lot of countries where they are hidden or, got overgrown by nature as mountains, as hills, but they're actually pyramids. And there was one when I went hiking in the Swiss Valley of the Light, where I was looking at her at the mountain, and I'm like, you are a freaking pyramid. You are. So again, this is not your imagination. If you walk through this living library of the earth and she's giving you this clues, trust it. So we have the pyramids that to me are very much corresponding to the 7 layers of your rainbow body, and that are also all tuning in a different tone that is making up your light body. So it's not for nothing that Egypt, and specifically the Giza Plateau, is also known to be the throat chakra of the earth. So whenever you travel specifically there, expect big openings to your throat chakra, speaking your truth, expressing yourself, expressing your purpose, your divine blueprint. And it doesn't have to be super publicly, right? It can even be in your family or communities. And then there is also the Valley of the Whales, which to me, with the Sphinx combined, is a super strong portal of Akashic memories, because it's really the bones and the stones. So we have the bones, like our bonal structures. That is the memory framework of our makeup, of our human body. In turn, the Valley of the Whales, this is where we find a multitude of whale skeletons holding the memory of these ancient Atlantean codes, the pre and also, post flood, I want to say, plus the sands of time, which are in essence nothing else than bones of the ancestors. So all of this is an encoded field of memories, personal, collective, for the earth, of the stars. And when you tap into this field, you can retrieve the specific information. And then there is also Saqqara. Honestly, after the Sphinx, my personal absolute favorite in Egypt. It is such a mysterious and mystical place, especially the 𝘁𝗵𝗀. Very much connected also to 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘀, like one of the key holders of this ancient body technology, where it's all about these longevity codes. So you will see these huge sarcophagus, like black granite. And of course, there is no logical or for practical explanation as to why they're there, because they're also empty. So I'll leave it up to yourself to tune into that, or you join us in December and you find out for yourself. There is Dendera, the Temple of Hathor, that very much holds the blueprint of star walking, like how you traverse these different realms of the earth and how you can access star nations like Venus, the Pleiades, Sirians. And also it's a gate for, or a portal for womb Stargate activations, like receiving light codes. I had a very profound experience while standing in the 𝘵𝗵𝘁, where the women would come and give birth or like pray for a pregnancy, where I literally got impregnated with light. Then there is Abydos, all about sacred geometry. You find the flower of life symbol there in the temple as a visible language of how frequency is taking form and how creation is taking form. It's a total Stargate as well. There is Karnak, which again brings in the number 7 as the 7 gates into the Holy of the Holies, as the same 7 layers of becoming. There is a amazing, powerful depiction, but again, like portal, with the 7 keys, the 7 ankhs, and the 7 gates. So meaning like the 7 keys, how you unlock the 7 gates of becoming. And there is a lot more. The Magdalene sites in Coptic Cairo, linked to apparitions, but also linked to the physical presence of Mother Mary and baby Yeshua. So you got all of these Sophia Christ codes, which in essence are also the Merkabah, the Star of David, the masculine and the feminine. That's the geometry of your personal light body surrounding the human form. And so, there is my upcoming trip to Egypt in December that is specifically designed to activate all of these dormant Merkabah codes, to activate your light body and also activate the field of Gaia, the Merkabah of Gaia, as she has a Merkabah herself that we are part of and that we are linking into. And so some of these temples that I just mentioned, we will visit, and you will get a chance to have a profound experience of self, of knowing yourself, beyond that which your mind can grasp. So join us. The link is below. You can book a call with me if you have any questions, or if you're ready to register directly, then click the link and I am super happy to journey together. Then there is this other place that I want to speak about in France, which is Mary Magdalene's mountain. It is called Sainte-Baume. And I don't know how about you, but since I was a kid, I would always dream that I could fly. And there was a moment when I lost that, and I started, or I wanted to fly. I started to spread my arms as wings, and I just like dropped to the floor, and it wasn't possible anymore. And through my very own consciousness expansion process, remembering of self, I regained that ability. And I'm a big dreamer. Like a lot of the things that I integrate or process, or even the vision that I receive in my dream town. Also, like this very night, last night, I had a super cool dream that is related to ancient body technology. I'll tell you a little bit about this later in the episode. So anyway, what I wanted to say is that I come back to being able to fly in my dream, which also enhances the capability of anything that you can dream of, anything that you can think is actually possible. And that was that pivotal moment when I was in the movies with my sister, and we were watching the movie Wicked. And there is the scene where 𝘆𝘆cie𝗂'𝗋 lifts up and she starts singing, and then the line, which is like, defying gravity, and that shot straight into my solar plexus and straight into my heart. Like the frequency of the song paired with seeing her lifting up, levitating in the air. And there was this lightning bolt that struck me, and I was like, oh, it is actually possible. It is possible. You just have to remember how. And I feel it's so funny. Like once you have just these truth bombs, it's also bumps. These truth bombs go off in your cellular memory. There is literally nothing that can take them away. Like there is 1,000 people that could tell me, this is not possible, you're making this up. But my body simply knows, I'm sorry, it is. It is. I know it is. I just have to remember, and I will figure out how this goes. And whether it is in this lifetime or not, but it is totally possible. And that is such a clarity that nobody can take away from you. And whether it is these things for fun, but there's just like this deep, deep trust in your own body, in your own truth, in yourself, and that belonging to a greater intelligence that gives so much clarity and so much trust in life itself that again, like you are able to navigate life from a much different lensing. Okay, so with this knowing, with this truth in my body, I go to Sainte-Baume. I had a beautiful pilgrimage that I co-facilitated with my sister Jana there, and we did a couple of days before, just like prepping the energies, prepping the stage, and also immersing ourselves in our own experience before holding space. And so we went to Sainte-Baume, is that mountain massive where Mary Magdalene is said to have ascended and to have been lifted up after Yeshua had died and was crucified, and she came to France, where she lived and dwelt for the last years of her life. And then every day, every single day, 7 times, notice the number 7 again, she was lifted by the angels from the cave where she dwelled up to the top of the mountain. And so that is a very nice story, right? But then when you are there and you walk these paths and you are in the cave and you start singing in the cave and you start toning and attuning yourself and your body to the frequencies that are inherently there, you adjust your frequency to the frequency of the mountain and to the frequency of the memory field of the Magdalene consciousness that is stored there. And I experienced that the story of like being levitated by the angels, and even the angels, everything is an energy, everything is a frequency, right? So if you attune yourself to these seraphim frequencies and you are lifting your consciousness to that higher level, that is what actually happens. You are being lifted, you're being elevated. And it's not just your consciousness that is being elevated, it's just, you can literally levitate. And so there's 3 caves, or let me say, it's like specifically 2 caves. One where I feel it's more like the heart cave, where it's that Merkabah again that is being turned on, the Sophia crystals, the feminine and the masculine coming together in that sacred union. And there is another one that is the Yoni cave. It is such a powerful portal when you stand in front of it, because it is literally shaped like a vagina and you can climb into it, and it's 2 caves inside. It's one of the most profound experiences that you can have, like standing in a creation portal itself. And then there is the top of the mountain where there is a little chapel as well, and where you can really feel exposed to the wind and everything. So the element of wind, again, coming in when we speak about levitation, like connecting yourself to the elements as well. So that was another layer for me where I realized that levitation is not magic, it's resonance. And when the body, the earth, the elements, and the cosmos really align, gravity becomes optional. Optional. It's a concept. And this is your reminder that also our bones were really built to interface with these subtle layers of energy, of reality, of vibration, to rise above the ordinary, rising above the ordinary. So that was a place where my body really felt lighter than air. And every time, like the next day that we climbed the mountain again, I could feel myself hovering. So not metaphorically, but sometimes really like in these subtle, perceptible shifts by the vibration of the mountain. So yeah, as an invitation for you, it's also like through this intentional breath work, I want to say, and energy alignment and sacred site attunements, like these places where you can restore these abilities inside of yourself. And our ancestors called this sometimes the body as the temple. It's known in many, many lineages, especially also the Magdalene lineage, where you find that specific Magdalene mountain and many also other places on the earth is a living library of that technology. So Yana and I have another journey coming up next year in May, 2026 in May, and you'll find an interest list on my website. So you can subscribe to that and be the first one to hear when this trip launches. We would be very honored to have you amongst our trip. Then I want to share a third location with you, which is the island of Rhodes in Greece. It's a Greek island, and I have an entire episode about this island. It's episode 61, The Islands of Rhodes, where your solar logos gets activated and your starfire ignited. So you can head over to that episode and hear about my experience more in depth and specific places on the island. But right now, I want to pick out one that really stood out in terms of activating ancient body technology that was a Starfire activation. And at the time, I was also in I want to say, like, after integration stages of the Magdalene Reiki master. And I went to Rhodes, where I walked ancient sites that were really, really charged with the solar consciousness and also the Magdalene consciousness. Here, Starfire activations occur, literally. I went to a mountain that is it's a monastery. It's a Magdalene monastery called 𝘊𝗵𝘁. And the name means burning mountain. And on this mountain in the monastery, you'll find a depiction of Mother Mary, which honestly I find it is Mary Magdalene as well, shape-shifting, where flames come out of her hands. And so this is literally a place where these Starfire activations occur. It's frequency transmissions, and my hands are tingling right now. Frequency transmissions through the ley lines, through sunlight, solar codes, and the sacred geometry of the earth, because it's the water. And then there is usually a mountain with a cave in or close to the water and the monastery right on top. And so again, it's the stars, the fire, and also the water coming together. And I could really, at that place, I could really feel how these codes entered my body, activating that dormant potential, specifically in my hands, specifically. And during these activations, I was in such an altered state of consciousness, like my perception of how I saw myself, and I don't like the word healer, but as a facilitator, as a vessel of divine source energy. And specifically when people come to me like for healing or for these Starfire activations, it was this light beam, like feeling, sensing how really all my body was vibrating, like every cell in my body was vibrating. And then there were spirals and sacred geometry that I could literally see go through my veins. And I understood how water and fire are two elements that are not contradicting each other, but they are complementing each other, and how we have this fire running through our sacred waters with the blood, and how we can play with water and fire in a very, very healing way, specifically when we harness these powers in our own body. So Starfire activations are really not just symbolic, they are very real, and they are energetic awakenings encoded in your body, and they're also encoded in the planet and in certain sites such as there. So wherever you have a site that is potentially connected to deep, deep solar codings, it's not only necessarily something that pops into your solar plexus, but it can really also have these profound awakenings of Starfire, which in the Magdalene tradition and in the Magdalene Reiki teachings, we go a lot deeper into what that actually is. But let me just tell you that it's the life-giving essence in your blood. So it is your blood, specifically also for the women, the moon blood, because it's the carrier of DNA, but is also the carrier of your star DNA. So again, coming back to like all of these capacities of star walking, astral travel, levitation, being the healing vessel for Starfire. So the Starfire is the spark of Sophia divine intelligence, connecting you to your cosmic grid, your star family, the solar logos, and of course also the Magdalene lineage. So your body really remembers these activations because you have done this before, and it is a living transmitter and receiver waiting for intentional alignment to crack these codes open. Let me know if you have been to Rhodes or any other place where your Starfire got ignited. I would really love to hear from you. I feel this is such a living tapestry that we are bringing together here. So please shoot me a message or leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from your experience. So now, remember that I said I also had a dream last night. I want to share very briefly with you because I'm still like in the process of also integrating that and how I want to link it to something that I discovered not so recently, but I want to say like recently I am more open to also speak about it. So there is a place in the sacred pentagram in the south of France where there is a Mars and a Venus pentagram that they overlap. So again, a lot of Merkabah, Sophia crystals coatings coming together. And that is called the chair of Isis, which is basically a rock in the shape of a big armchair. So in my dream, I was placed in that chair of Isis, and I could see my rainbow light body, my 7 layers of becoming, my 7 aura layers, and the different colors of the rainbow. That was also linked to a depiction of Yeshua that I had seen in Sainte-Baume in France one time, where he literally in the church comes out of a rainbow yoni. And at the time that I saw it, I found it just like cool and amazing. But that dream, and that was 1.5 years ago. So remember also how I said that these things are not linear, like they are spiraling. And when you're ready and when the codes crack open, you are able to make these connections. So that dream made the connection to what I saw there as well with that rainbow shaped yoni. So I'm sitting in the chair of Isis. I see like I'm in my body, but I also see myself from the outside. And I see how all my guides and guardians are there to perform basically a psychic surgery on my field and on my 7 layers of becoming. And in the way that they did it was they were using a toolkit that some of you might have seen that in my videos already, where I speak about frequency cosmetic sprays by the brand of Lavylites. And it is truly something that I more and more coming to terms with, that this is part of ancient body technology and that this is part of how your body remembers its original and ancient blueprint. It's a Hungarian company and they are marketed as cosmetics, but what they do is beyond exceptional. So every layer of my becoming and the psychic surgery that was performed in that dream was happening through one of these sprays. And let me just tell you about their names. One is called Genie Spirit. Another one is called Oricum, sensitive, referencing to, first of all, the aura, but also the gold, which is your golden spine, basically. There is another one that is called Astria, which works with your astral body. There is another one that is called 𝘆𝘆cie, linking you into the oneness, the joy, the bliss. There is a fourth one that is called Illumina, which is speaking into the illumination of your light body. So to me, that was just very fascinating. There is one, I have been traveling with or journeying with the Astria, which has been a product that I haven't experienced so much for myself. I started a couple of weeks ago, and the way that they market is it's for stretch marks. So whenever you or your body has undergone a big transformation after pregnancy or weight loss, for example, it really, really also reduces on your body the stretch marks. But I know that all of these products, because they are purely natural, because They are made with over 3,000 frequencies, energetic imprints of the purest form of nature: flowers, flower essences, minerals. Some contain meteorite. The oricum says it's like it's the metals in there, the minerals in there. And I know how they can do a lot more. So I started journeying with the Astria, and it is definitely something that can prepare you for a greater expansion of your energetic field. So if this is something that you feel you want to explore further, I've been using the products for myself. It's been roughly 2 years, and it's been half a year, beginning of the year, that I decided for myself that I really also do want to operate with the company as a strategic partner, which has been such a great journey to recognize that the company is operating in a new earth way, and what I call what it feeds, that I hold a greater vision of that network of light. If you want to explore that further and maybe also see how the products can help you to go back to your blueprint, and remember, it is all of the different layers. It's the blueprint of the physical, like you are healthy, your body is communicating in a very healthy way with and to each other. There is the emotional and the mental balance, and there is the spirit body. So it is the blueprint of like, hey, remember, you are consciousness. You are a divine being. You are source. And so most of the products come in sprays, but there is also a hair care line. There is an oral care line. There is a great, great spray that is for your microbiome in the mouth and in the gut. There is beauty products, so many different lines. And yeah, I can really recommend them, like from the bottom of my heart. And for me, it's become an essential toolkit to activate and remember on a daily basis my ancient body technology and my light body. So the link is below. Click it if you want to know more. I am also hosting bi-weekly Monday calls where you can learn more about the products and also the concept of the network of light as a conscious, illuminated network for entrepreneurs, or just like, yeah, people who are curious to experiment with their consciousness. You can click that below. Okay. Whew. So here we integrate the experiences into the practical understanding. So again, we were speaking about all of these different layers of the body, and that to say that the body is a multi-layered technology, and it is your birthright as a human being, encoded with light, with memory, and also a higher state of consciousness. And to me, sacred travel has become a key to activating this technology alongside with these little guys lately. Yeah, why travel to sacred sites? Because also the earth herself is a living grid of consciousness, and certain places hold this high frequency imprints, especially if you have temples, stone circles, sites where ceremony and specific practices with regards to activating your light body and all of these ancient body technology have been practiced, because this is a living hologram of this information that you can access. So this was encoded by civilizations, lineages, and also star lineage who remembered these technologies and who were engaging with it. And so remember that also time is not linear. This is still all available. It's available in your DNA, and it is available at the site. So when your body stands in these places, it really resonates with the geomantic, but also geometric and crystalline frequencies that are there in the land, but also through the temples, through the sites, through the resonance that is created in the structures that are harnessing even cathedrals, caves, mountains. When you stand in these places, dormant codes in your DNA and light body can awaken through that resonance. And when you stand in these places, your system begins to remember and also rewire and reconfigure. It's like unlocking a password in the body's operating system. Or again, if you want to use that symbolism of the Ankh turning as the key, turning in the lock. So remember that also you are the door, you are the lock, and you're also the key. And if all three are in alignment, and this is why so many initiatory lineages have also held pilgrimage traditions, because the land itself is a teacher. By the way, there is another great episode that I have in the very early stages that is, I believe it's episode 7. I'm going to link it below, which is all about pilgrimage as initiation and the Camino de Santiago and its original meaning as a pilgrimage into the soul, as a mirror of the Milky Way. And sacred travel, I guess when you've been with my channel for a while, you know, it's not just sightseeing. It is really a reciprocal ceremony of frequency, of alignment, of being in resonance. And when you enter these fields with presence, reverence, and also readiness, then the site activates you and you activate the site in return. So this co-creation restores the original blueprint also of the human earth cosmos, cosmology in harmony. And the goal is less to really escape the body, but it is to fully inhabit it and to embody it, to become that living bridge, like going full circle to the beginning between heaven and the earth. So remember that your body is the ancient technology. Your sacred sites can be the keys or the catalyst, and the remembrance is truly the initiation. Whether you walk the sands of Egypt or any of the caves in Sainte-Baume, the mountains, or Rhodes, or Greece, or Australia, Peru, Sri Lanka, you name it, your body is a living archive of ancient wisdom. And with intentional alignment, you can awaken its latent ability. Like we said in the beginning, levitation, starfire activations, astral travel, and just like a deep cellular remembrance and a lot more that is possible. So I warmly invite you to explore these energies for yourself. Can be through travel, can be through meditation, through sacred site work, grid work, and also conscious presence. Because your body is so much more than a vessel. It is really a gateway. Now step into its ancient technology and awakening your light to really remember what your cells have always known. And if you are ready to experience some of these concepts that we touched on, not as mental constructs, but as felt and lived experiences and truth in your body, then I'll invite you to join me on the grid. Egypt is waiting this December, so you can find the link below. There's 2 final spots left, so grab them before they are gone. And there's more sacred travel experiences coming next year, 2026. Avalon, Iona in Scotland, different sites in France and Egypt, and maybe some more. So sign up for the interest lists on my website and you'll get notified when these specific tours air. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening and for tuning in. And you do me the biggest favor if you hit the subscribe button or leave me a comment so I can drive some traffic on the channel. I had some hiccups recently with YouTube. And so you really do me a great favor if you engage with my content in any way. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or you can also leave me a personal note on Instagram, letting me know about your favorite episodes or how you enjoyed it, if there was any remembrance that was sparked while you were listening to this episode. And I totally make sure to respond to every message personally. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in today. And as always, stay curious and seek out the extraordinary. I'll see and connect with you next time.